Now, the honest caveats. One frontier-scale model trained on domestic silicon doesn't mean chip controls achieved nothing. They almost certainly slowed things down and raised costs. And training is only half the game. Serving models at scale is its own chip problem. But the strategic picture changed. The wall now has a documented hole in it, and the hole is open source, which means it can't be unshipped. There's a second-order effect, too. Every MIT-licensed frontier model raises the floor for what free gets you, which drags down what anyone can charge. That pricing pressure is a big part of why OpenAI just shipped a $1 budget tier Luna in the GPT 5.6 family. The price war isn't coming, it's here, and China started it on purpose. So what's the American side doing about all this? 3 things, all in the last few weeks. First, the labs are closing the back doors. Anthropic is actively closing loopholes that let Chinese firms access Claude through relay services, cloud providers, and Singapore-based subsidiaries. Court reporting named Ant Group among the companies using these routes. So while Chinese models flow into American companies through the front door, American models were flowing into Chinese companies through the side door, and Anthropic is now welding that door shut. Second, Washington is moving from watching to standardizing. The White House has been preparing voluntary AI model release standards, and we've already seen what the involuntary version looks like. In June, export controls took Claude Fable 5, arguably the most capable model in the world, completely offline for nearly 3 weeks. I've covered that full story in another video, but the relevant point here is that model access is now officially a national security lever in both directions. Third, and most telling, OpenAI is reportedly offering the US government a 5% stake in the company as part of its IPO strategy. Whatever that turns out to be, the direction is unmistakable. The American answer to state-backed Chinese AI is starting to look like state-entangled American AI. Now here's the twist ending nobody expects in this story. The biggest crackdown on Chinese AI this month isn't coming from Washington. It's coming from Beijing. And it's about to delete something 345 million people use. On July 15th, a new Chinese AI companion law takes effect, and its consequences are staggering. ByteDance's Dubao, an AI assistant with 345 million users, is shutting down its persistent agent features to comply. Alibaba's Qwen is doing the same, and Qwen announced no migration path at all, meaning users who miss the deadline may permanently lose their configured agents and histories. ByteDance's official guidance to users was essentially, screenshot your important conversations before July 15th. Why? The law mandates anti-addiction friction, and persistent memory companions are, by design, the opposite of that. Both companies decided rebuilding under compliance was harder than deleting the feature. Here's why this belongs in this video. The same state that's winning the open-source model war abroad is simultaneously willing to amputate a 345 million user product category at home, overnight, by decree. That's the asymmetry American companies are competing against. Chinese labs move at commercial speed until policy says stop, and then they stop instantly. It makes them brutally efficient exporters and structurally unpredictable partners, both at once. So let's land this. If you run a company or build products, here's the honest calculus the 46% number forces on you. The case for Chinese open-source models is real: 60 to 90% cost savings, genuinely competitive quality on routine workloads, and open weights you can self-host, which ironically can mean more data control than a US API, not less, if you host them yourself. The case for caution is equally real. Depending on your industry, regulators and enterprise customers will ask where your models come from, and "it was cheapest on the drop-down" is not a compliance strategy. Model provenance is about to become a standard procurement question, the way data residency did a decade ago. And as the Dubao shutdown shows, the upstream ecosystem can change by decree overnight. My practical read: the smart teams are already splitting workloads. Sensitive, customer-facing, regulated work on American frontier models. High-volume, low-stakes internal work on open source wherever it's from, self-hosted where it matters. The 46% number isn't a scandal. It's a market clearing at the actual price of intelligence, and pretending it isn't happening is the only losing move. This US-China AI story is moving weekly, and I'm tracking it as a running series on this channel. If you want the next chapter when it breaks, subscribe. One click, that's the whole pitch. And if you want the story of what happens when Washington actually pulls the trigger on a model, watch my breakdown of the Fable 5 ban next, the first time the US government took a frontier AI offline. It's on your screen now. Right now, up to 46% of the AI running inside American companies is Chinese. Not 46% of gadgets, 46% of the actual intelligence, the tokens flowing through US developer platforms. CNBC just confirmed it, almost nobody covered it, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it happened. On July 7, 2026, CNBC published an investigation with a finding that should have been front-page news. Chinese AI models now account for between 30 and 46% of the enterprise API token usage flowing through US developer platforms. Let me translate that out of industry language. When a company builds an AI feature, a support bot, a coding assistant, a document processor, every request burns tokens through some model's API. Tokens are the electricity of AI, and the meters on American developer platforms now show that up to 46 cents of every token dollar of usage is flowing through models built in China. Here's how fast it moved. On OpenRouter, one of the biggest gateways where developers pick between models, Chinese model share has been above 30% of all gateway tokens every single week since February 8, 2026, peaking at 46%. The average across the prior 12 months? Just 11%. In the first half of 2025, it was as low as 4.5%. 4.5% to 46% in roughly a year. There is no consumer headline for this because there's no consumer product. It happened inside API dashboards, one procurement decision at a time, which is exactly why nobody noticed. So why are American companies quietly routing their AI workloads to Chinese models? The answer is not ideology, it's arithmetic. Justin Somerville at OpenRouter put a number on it. Open-source Chinese models are 60 to 90% cheaper than the leading Anthropic and OpenAI models. Sit with that spread for a second. If your AI bill is $100,000 a month on an American frontier model, a comparable Chinese open-source model might run you $10,000 to $40,000 for the same workload. No CFO on earth ignores that gap for long, especially when the quality difference on routine tasks, classification, extraction, standard coding has narrowed to the point where many teams can't blind test the difference, and the delivery mechanism removed the last barrier. Developers aren't signing contracts with Chinese companies, they're clicking a drop-down on an American platform, OpenRouter, Versal's Gateway, and the model happens to be Chinese. Open weights, MIT-style licenses, hosted anywhere. The friction of buying Chinese AI collapsed into a menu selection. That's the machine behind the chart, a 60 to 90% discount, delivered through American infrastructure, one drop-down at a time. Now let's name names because 3 models are doing most of this damage. First, GLM 5.2 from Z.ai. When it launched, it posted the fastest adoption of any model Versal tracked in all of 2026. In its first full week, daily token volume grew roughly 27x, and customer count grew roughly 80x. 80 times more paying customers in a week. American launches get press releases. This got adoption. Second, and this one's my favorite story of the year, Mimo V2 Pro from Xiaomi. Yes, the phone company. It is now the most used model on OpenRouter by weekly token volume. Xiaomi is processing 4.21 trillion tokens a week through that platform, a 21.1% share. OpenAI's share on the same platform, 7.5%. The phone company is outserving OpenAI on OpenAI's home turf with a 1 million token context window and pricing multiple times cheaper than US frontier models. And here's the detail that tells you how deliberate this is. Xiaomi deployed it anonymously first. The model climbed the leaderboards as an unmarked entry, earned developer trust purely on performance, and only then did Xiaomi put its name on it. Meituan ran the same play with its Longcat models. Chinese labs learned that American developers will happily use a nameless model that benchmarks well, so they let the performance land before the flag does. Third, DeepSeek, the model that started this whole wave back in early 2025, saw its share of Versal Gateway tokens climb again through May and June. The original disruptor is still compounding. And if the economics didn't get your attention, the engineering should, because one of these models just proved something the entire US chip strategy was built to prevent. That's next. For 4 years, US strategy on Chinese AI has rested on one assumption: cut off the chips, and the models stop. Export controls on Nvidia's best GPUs were the wall. Then, on July 4th weekend, Meituan open-sourced Longcat 2.0. It's a 1.6 trillion parameter model, frontier scale. It's released under an MIT license, meaning anyone on Earth can download it, modify it, and ship it commercially for free. And it was trained entirely on Chinese domestic chips. Read that sentence again. A 1.6 trillion parameter model trained without a single Nvidia GPU given away for free on America's Independence Day. If the chip wall worked as designed, that model should not exist.